The stench, along with the massive number of flies, led them to the basement. The floor was cleared away, revealing just days-old concrete work. Forensics were called in and the cement was removed. Beneath it was the body of the missing 70-year-old woman. She had blunt force trauma to her head and marks around her neck, indicating that she was strangled. Almost immediately, they knew who her killer was. Welcome to another episode of This Happened Here. In today's story, I'll be telling you 2 of the 4 stories we found while visiting the Linville Falls area. Last week, we brought you one of the most senseless killings I've ever had to research. If you didn't see that one, click the link above here. Next week, we will be telling the last of these stories, and I saved the most vicious for last, so you won't want to miss that one. In this week's episode, like the last one, they are hard to hear because of how tragic they are. The second one will shock you the most. Now, if true stories from around the USA and other countries are something that will interest you, then this is a channel to watch because we travel around the US and beyond to find these interesting stories for you. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now so you don't miss out on any of our weekly uploads and our shorts videos. As promised, we now have our join button given to us by YouTube. With this, you will be able to be a part of our Some Stories of Mine community, be directly responsible for helping us branch out further into other states and abroad to get more of these interesting stories. Can you imagine how much more we could uncover if we moved away from Tennessee and the bordering states? And also, how much better my videos would look. I'm so excited about this and will do my best to make this all worthwhile for y'all. I have mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, this channel was created to find stories that a lot of us have never heard about and to show you around this beautiful country of ours. So click that join button now. Don't be cautious. The most that will happen to you is that you will see our welcome video explaining what being a member is all about and what's in store for you. There is no charge for that. Now, if you don't want a commitment right now and only want to give a little or do a one-time thing, we have the thanks icon right there below the video for that. And if those are not to your liking, well, we also have the Patreon link and a Buy Me a Coffee link if you want to show love that way. Anything will be appreciated, but there is no pressure, absolutely no pressure. Just know that your contribution will allow us to upload more videos and offer some behind the scenes. Members will get exclusive videos, and because we'll be actually going on vacation and we'll be putting in some work as well very soon, members will get some of our personal van life videos. We'll be taking you to Florida, New Orleans, and Georgia. We'll be traveling the Trail of Tears and we'll be telling some stories about that as well. Members will be getting more, but there will still be enough left over for the non-members, so no worries there. Yes, folks, there is a lot coming, so stay tuned. And if you are new here and have not subscribed, now would be a good time to do so. I am your host, LT Bartek. Now for this week's stories. As I mentioned before, we are still in Linville Falls, North Carolina, and we'll be showing you around the area as I tell these dark stories. On May 17th, 2022, A native New Yorker, 67-year-old Frances Del Adeline Colette Apperson, packed up her hiking bag and walked out to her vehicle, a silver and black 2013 Hyundai Santa Fe. She got in, and as she was pulling away from her home at North Course Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina, she gave it one last look to make sure everything was locked up and okay. She was to meet up with some relatives at Hawkins Mountain to hike, and she was feeling happy. But she never met with her relatives, and she didn't go hiking with them that day, because the last time someone spotted her was at 3:45 p.m. when she stopped at the Banner Elk Cafe for a bite to eat. Relatives tried without success to get in touch with her. Worried, they reported her missing 4 days later on May 21st. Frances, who had been hearing impaired since she was 6 weeks old, had now been missing for over 48 hours. So the Mecklenburg Police Department officers and rangers immediately set out to find her. They pinged her phone and located her pollen-covered car parked in the Linville Falls parking lot. It was so covered with the pollens of spring that it was obvious that this vehicle had been sitting there for a long time. Relatives were alerted, and they too joined in the search for Frances. They hiked the trail to Linville Falls, but all they found was a small angel. This angel had a twin, and that twin was inside Frances's vehicle. Though they searched day and night for weeks, there was no sign of her. Frances is still missing to this date. Based on the last episode where Damon's head was ripped from his lifeless body in that same area, I am prone to think that she might have met a similar fate, but that is only my thinking. My heartfelt sympathies go out to her family. Now for our next story. Lynn Gay Keene loved her family and her family her. She was always a happy person, but at age 70 years old, her family thought Lynn needed to have a living person to help her because early that year she had fallen and had suffered a traumatic brain injury. So they hired a woman, family friend, by the name of Elizabeth Freeman to take care of her at her Linville Falls home in North Carolina. Little did they know that that would be the worst thing they could have done to their beloved Lynn. The last time Lynn's family heard from her was on June 9th, but she was seen picking up mail on July 16th. Their constant attempt to reach her grew futile, so on July 30th, 2021, her relatives filed a missing person report with the Avery County Sheriff's Office. The search was on for Lynn, and their first stop was at her home on Rock Hall Lane. There they found that her 2000 Lincoln Town car was not sitting in its usual spot on her driveway. A bolo, be on the lookout, was issued, and on August 2nd her car was located on Blue Ring Road in Cherokee by the Cherokee Tribal Police Department. This was 104 miles from her home in Linville Falls and 52 miles west of Asheville. They found the vehicle locked, but the officers managed to open it, and inside the car, under the driver's seat, they found the car keys. On further search, inside the trunk of the car, they found 2 empty bags of cement. Seeing this as strange, the Avery County detectives secured a search warrant for Lynn's home. Nearly 2 months later, on August 6th, they, along with the SBI, State Bureau of Investigations, searched the home of Lynn Keene. Immediately upon entering, they smelt a distinct odor of human decay and saw a ton of flies leading to the basement. There was also blood evidence on the walls, ceiling, and floor of the bathroom. The floor of the basement had somewhat new concrete, which they traced back to the empty bags found in the car. Forensics was called in to remove the cement. What they found would stay with them forever, because beneath it was the remains of Lynn. They found bodily fluids coming from underneath a blue tarp held down by a large box. They also found bags of lime or cement covering human remains, later determined to belong to Keene. Dental records were used to confirm her identity. An autopsy was done days later, revealing that Keene had blunt force trauma to her head. She was hit so hard that her skull was fractured, and they also determined, based on evidence, that she was strangled with what could only be a belt. Her caregiver, 53-year-old Elizabeth Freeman, who was also going by Elizabeth Carcerino, was named a person of interest, and another bolo was sent out for her. She was listed as 5 feet 4 inches, weighing 200 pounds, and had shoulder-length sandy blonde hair. She was wanted on charges of larceny of a motor vehicle, financial card theft, and identity theft. On Friday, August 6, 2021, Elizabeth was found in a Western North Carolina hospital, diagnosed with a drug issue. During the investigation to locate Elizabeth, they found surveillance video of her at a gift shop in Marion, North Carolina, about 20 miles south of Linville Falls. The video showed Elizabeth driving Lynn's Lincoln and using one of her bank cards. Law enforcement officials also believe that another person or persons may also be involved in the murder of Keene, because they think that there was no way that Elizabeth could lift an 80-pound bag of cement all by herself, let alone two. But there is no further information regarding this. Elizabeth Catherine Carcerino, aka Elizabeth Freeman, was taken into custody by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office on Saturday, August 7, 2021, on charges of identity theft, larceny of motor vehicle, and financial car theft. Then on August 8th, she was turned over to the Avery County Sheriff's Office with an additional charge of murder in the death of 70-year-old Lynn Gay Keene. Carcerino was taken to the Avery County Detention Center under a bond of $1.62 million. And that is where I leave that. Now, if any of these stories interested you, please click the thumbs up icon and subscribe if you haven't done so as yet. And share this video with ones who you think will find it interesting as well. Don't forget to comment. You know I love to hear from you. I do reply to all who take the time to do so. Remember to love yourself and others, and I will catch you on the next one. Love you. Bye.